My name's Adam Manaka and I'm the Financial Controller for hi-Tec Oils. With our national capacity, we can now service Australian companies nationwide. Of late, we have now expanded into the New Zealand market. Here at hi-Tec Oils, we receive premium base oils and premium additive packs. Together, with our highly trained staff, we manufacture over 500 premium quality products. hi-Tec Oils is Australian made and Australian owned.
Easter weekend 1938 and racing happened here at Mount Panorama 8 decades later, and a place that was originally built for Sunday drivers is now a mecca of motorsport. On this glorious Easter Sunday, we keep the tradition rolling with a World Championship of Racing this weekend. In my books, forget about that Bathurst 6 hour. The Hyundai Excels are going to put on one hell of a show, and the man that's going to be joining us up here this weekend, and particularly today, is someone who's copying a bit of flack on Twitter at the moment because everyone's calling you Sean Chubby Wombat Beggs. Very good morning to you, mate.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Mate, what's this? Everyone's calling you Chubby Wombat this morning. What's going on, my friend?
Oh, wait, well, that's actually my team name, Chubby Wombat Motorsport.
They put on some brilliant racing this weekend. We originally had 55 nominated for this weekend. But let's talk about, because I know for you personally, for a number of the teams here, it's very much... you could probably say emotional moment in some regards, because for so long you guys have fought for having the Excels up here at Mount Panorama, and now it's a dream come true.
And what better track to actually have a go at the legendary Bathurst? Yeah, Mount Panorama. And for these guys in the Excels, having a car that's $8,000 to $10,000 worth of race cars, so very cost-effective cars, it is amazing.
I haven't done much. I've just started racing. I hadn't been in karts or anything, so it's very different to the road. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to what the future has to hold for me. 2 years ago, Dad was here at the 6 hour, and that's where he met Emily Duggan. And then he just got talking with her, and yeah, here we are. He thought that maybe I'd be into it. I qualified at 43, and then race 1 I was at 40, and then race 2 I didn't make it, unfortunately. So what happened was I was down in the chase. I just come in way too hot, just hard on the brakes, and then I just lost it. Unfortunately, I was going in sideways, and someone's just come through and cleaned me up. He had nowhere to go, so. Well, I'm hoping to be up in the 30s, so that's my ultimate goal. So, and just to have fun, of course.
Well, I started off reasonably well. Was really up the top of the timesheets in practice and qualifying. Fortunately dropped back to about 9th in qualifying, so started the first race there. Dropped back 2 spots in race 1, started off 11th, and then dropped off another 2 spots and finished in 13th. So I've had a bit of a bad day. I had some problems. I'm actually pretty glad I finished this race. Well, car came out of turn 2 on lap 1. It was a bit... I've just looked up and all of a sudden there's a slow car right in front of me. There's a car on the left, there's a wall on the right. I didn't really know where to go. So basically, yeah, I just went to the right. He's come over, just tagged me and just, caught the wheel on his wheel probably. So did the whole race with a flat tyre. Hopefully I can move forward. I'm aiming for a top 5 tomorrow. That's if I can do that, I'll be extremely happy.
Yeah, I started Gemini racing back in the late 90s out of go-karts initially. And Gemini racing, similar sort of a thing to this back in the day in Queensland. The XLs are the new version, but fantastic to race 55 of these cars around here. A lot of fun. Qualifying went fairly well. We ended up grid 3. I was only 300ths of a 10th off pole. I think the top 6 cars were covered by less than a 10th. So very close around here, very much a drafting effect. But yeah, a lot of fun. And first race I managed to win, which was great. And I just got 5th in the second race then. Not exactly sure where we'll start. It'll either be a progressive grid or where we finish. So on progressive grid, I think I'm 2nd. Off where we finished the previous race, obviously 5th. I'm here to win. At the end of the day, that's what we want to do. A little bit slow up going up the mountain, but we're probably the fastest across the top, which we certainly like. And it's good racing as long as we're in or thereabouts. At the end, we'll be right in with it. Yeah, Great Aussie Ute Race was my debut here in 2003. There was 2 drivers in the Utes. The Brocks won that one. On that occasion, we got up to 4th, and unfortunately, my brother was team with me, and he bended on the last turn, and that was us. So we were watching the checkered flag be waved from there. But I started last in the grid, and it was pouring down rain, and managed to carve my way halfway up through the field in that one. That was great. Raced the Utes here 3 times since then, and yeah, great track. Anytime you can get back here and race is cool, but particularly super cool with these Hyundai X3s. Really good fun.
A little bit of oil dry there down on the racetrack at the moment. Of course, unfortunately, one of our Group N historic touring cars having a bit of a mechanical problem over the top of Mount Panorama, which is probably a nice segue into speaking of mechanical dramas. There's been a bit of that this weekend, and overnight some engine changes as well.
That's right. Jamie Murray did an engine change last night. He's from WA. He had a little bit of a little contact in that first start kerfuffle that happened. They had to change the engine last night, so he's actually out on the grid. And Natasha Saris also had engine issues last night, so all the WA guys were all in there under bonnets and changing engines, but they're both out there ready for the race.
How much time do these guys spend in the wind tunnel trying to get these cars designed to perfection, do you reckon, Bixie?
Depending on how much the wind is blowing down the straights, I suppose.
Of course, that slipstream effect is going to be massive in this race, and we've spoken about how we're really looking forward to getting, of course, that full coverage of this race, race 3 this weekend. And so many people, of course, joining us across the world at the moment. A number of people from the UK. It's about midnight over there at the moment. Some of us joining with us, some pizza and stuff like that as well, and they're looking forward to this Excel race. So we've got roughly, 55 out there at the moment, or have we lost some due to attrition?
We may have lost a car yesterday from hitting the wall.
Right, yep.
I haven't heard any more information about that, but I believe we're definitely having 54 starters.
54 starters, and the odds on this weekend is that we might be half a chance to go 54 wide, just about going to Griffiths Bend, because at the start of the weekend so far, if we've had any sort of form guide, these guys will go absolutely gangbusters around every metre of this 6.213 kilometre racetrack. So we've got Benny Bargwanna in that 35 car that you can see that will lead us to the #1 starting position here at the moment. Give us a bit of a rundown. So we've got Benny Bargwanna position 1. He's going to square off on the front row here with Cam Bartholomew.
Okay, well, I believe you will actually see Adam Bywater's car actually still at the front.
Right.
Okay, he had got a penalty yesterday for weaving behind the safety car once the lights were out, so it was like a bit of a whoops. But what they've decided is just keep him starting in his position and then give him a possible 30-second penalty in this race.
So that means Bartholomew will still start on the front row then with Bywater there in position 3?
That's correct. So we'll have Cameron Bartholomew second, then we'll have Adam Bywater in third on the track, then Asher Johnston in 4th. Okay, we'll have Cameron Wilson in 5th, Brock Giblin in 6th, David Wood from Queensland in 7th, Peter Kemp, our only Tassie in the field, in 8th, Steve Hay in 9th, and Matthew Broadbent, another young Queenslander, in 10th position.
Fantastic. Look at this. What a sight. What a sight. The Excel's coming through Murray's Corner. They're going to be stacked probably, I'd say, around the turn, if you don't mind. There's a Castrol livery as well, just coming through Murray's Corner, just adding to the flair of the Excels here this morning. So it's Benny Bargwanna, Cam Bartholomew on the front row. We've got 54 Excels out there. It's like the World Championship of Excel racing here this morning at Mount Panorama. Strap yourselves in and hold on tight, because this is going to be an absolutely cracking affair between our top 2 and top few cars out in front. They're going to be slipstreaming like you could not believe, going up and down the mountain. Won't be too far away from a start here, Bexy. Waiting on that green flag to wave, and then we're going to send them loose around Mount Panorama for 6 exorbitant laps. Here we go, Sean. Take us away, my friend.
Okay, so green flag has waved. We've got the 5-second board now. What they will do, they will show 5 lights. So we've got the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, or 5th red light, and we're off. Looks like everyone at the front's got a fairly good start there. Looks like somebody had a bit of a slow start that mid-pack, so they all seem to be spreading out down that straight. Let's see how they go through turn 1.
Oh, no contact in behind, unfortunately. Kemp getting turned around. There's more, and Bryant getting caught up. And unfortunately, we've had carnage already at turn #1. Adam Bryant stopped on drivers right there, right midway through Hell Corner. Unfortunately, that might be in a pretty precarious position if you can't get that car refired here and into a safer spot. In the process, though, Bartholomew has got the lead heading up Mountain Straight here for the first time. It looks like Benny Bargwanna might just get shuffled back here as they turn it into Griffin's Bend.
That's right. We've got Asher Johnston coming in underneath him, going through Griffin's, and Adam Bywater looks like is also going to position.
So Asher Johnston making up some spots here early. He's gone from position 3 up to that second spot now. Bargwanna looking down the inside of Bywater. That is a ballsy spot to try and get the job done there. Side by side going into Griffin's Bend. Now Cam Wilson is looking down the inside of the Alan Moffat-esque livery #1. Great jump, and look at this. It's a complete train at the moment as they come across the top to greet the fans on top of Mount Panorama for the opening lap of 6 here at the moment. We stay under green flag conditions for now. Bartholomew has got the margin so far, but Johnston stuck right on his rear hammer.
That's right, and as they come across the top, they're going to be in 4th gear, going as hard as they possibly can. Just over this hump just here, a lot of the guys have been saying that some of the mid-pack will just lift off just slightly. Not as brave as the front guys. But I know a lot of the guys are talking about trying to drive it flat until Skyline.
Listen to the tyres protesting as they head down towards the dipper. We've spoken about coming down the mountain a lot this weekend because there's a lot of weight over the front end of the car. It means the back end is going to be very, very light. So actually tipping these cars into this sequence of corners that we're seeing at the moment is going to be very, very difficult.
Well, that's right, because if the back end of the car suddenly gets a little bit loose, you will then start turning everywhere.
And watch this. Here we go. It's like Daytona at the NASCAR. They're drafting, heading down Conrod Straight. So Johnston's going to look for the lead here. He stepped out of the draft already. Bartholomew has taken the inside line. Driver's left going over the rise of Conrod Straight here. They're almost making left rear to right front contact coming down side by side, if you don't mind. And now the train on driver's left is going to get the margin as they're side by side through the kick at near enough to 200 Ks.
As you can see, coming in, they're just out under brakes now. Ben Bargwanna tried to take the position from Johnson, but Johnson came through. Slight little bit of contact with Bywater, and he's moved back to 4th spot.
This is going to be epic. Twitter at the moment is lighting up like you could not believe as they come down into Murray's Corner. Bargwanna's all crossed up. He's got Camden behind in the battle for 4th. Bartholomew is going to lead lap #1. Bywater, in the space of a heartbeat now, is going to find himself into position #2 as they come across the line to complete lap #1. Let's give you this margin. From 1st back to position 7, they're covered by 2 seconds. Incredible.
And this is the amazing thing about this racing.
So, what an opening lap for Bartholomew. Let's have a look at what happened here at the start. So your 2 leaders get away. You need to look back just in this 3-wide battle pack here at the moment. The 116 machine is going to get shafted here. There it is, the contact, and unfortunately had nowhere to go. A slight overlap, and then the damage continued, unfortunately, in the contact just through Hell Corner. Back to the lead we go. Johnston on the inside in car #8 here, looking for that margin underneath Bywater. Bargwanna's going to slot in right in behind him as well. Here we go. Here we go. Almost 3 wide as they head up towards the cutting out of Griffin's Bend.
And coming into the cutting, what they do, they go back down into 2nd gear so they can try and get that power, well, what power the cars have, and up the hill. And so whoever can actually get the least wheel spin coming out of the cutting will get the better drive out of the corner.
That's been a huge talking point prior to the weekend as well. What drivers will do trying to get up the mountain. Have they been using 2nd, or have some been trying to get up there in 3rd gear?
No, the word is that everybody's been using 2nd through the cutting, because you want as much revs as possible to try and keep these cars, keep their momentum going.
Yeah, they'd certainly be struggling trying to get up the mountain. They wouldn't be too bad going down the mountain, which they're about to get to at the moment. So the car's going across Brock Skyline right now. Your leader is still Bartholomew. Johnston in 2nd. He's a great young talent, isn't he, Asher Johnston? Really making a name for himself, not just in this class, but in Australian motorsport. He's a 2-time South Australian champion.
Well, that's exactly right. And we've got plenty of champions here. Now, Asher's... He travels around Australia with the Hyundais. He's been to Queensland for the Nationals there. We went to Wakefield Park to the Nationals, to their last year's Nationals. So he travels around everywhere to get as much experience in these cars as possible.
Of course, those championships for him coming in 2014 and 2016 as well. The trains are lining up, heading down Conrod Straight. On the right-hand side of the screen, drivers left, you've got Cam Wilson with Ben Bargwanna right in behind him. You've got Adam Bywater trying to have some help, but he's lost the help now on drivers right heading down Conrod Straight. Bartholomew's still the leader here at the moment. Johnston, if anything now, the top two have actually got, well, I say, 3 car lengths between themselves in that battle pack for position number 3. Cars getting the curb there on the left-hand side. We had an incredible shot at the start of the weekend going down into Murray's Corner because the curb on drivers left at Murray's is absolutely massive. One of the cars got, I'd almost say, 4 wheels off the ground. He was that high in the air at this point right here. Almost what we saw there from the 47 machine of Brock Giblin, getting up on 2 wheels and having some fun, as you would come to expect here from the Excels.
Exactly. And as you can see, the field, there's going to be battles all the way through the field. So no matter where you are, you're going to have someone to fight with.
So let's keep you updated on this margin because it has not changed from 1st to 7th. The margin is still 1.9 seconds. So we've completed 2 laps of this race and it has not changed whatsoever.
And as they've been battling, what they've allowed is David Wood and I believe Ross Street to actually catch up to that train now. So as they keep battling for the lead, that train will get bigger and bigger and bigger.
So heading across the rise now and up towards Griffin's Bend once again. Still your leader of Bartholomew from Johnston, 1 and 2 right now. Wilson not too far in arrears. They're getting pretty close to each other, heading out of Griffin's Bend there as well as they fight for position. Wilson now is starting to be the sleeper in the pack here, moving forward. Of course, he was our winner in race number 1 in the weekend as Bartholomew is still showing the nose there in car 35.
Exactly. Cam Wilson has definitely got a lot more experience than a lot of the other drivers around this track, so I think he's going to be using some of those wily tactics to just move forward. I think he's going to be a very solid contender for the win this one.
So across the top of Mount Panorama they come once again, keeping in mind we've completed, well, we're on the 3rd lap at the moment, so we're not too far away from that half race distance right now. It's almost in a bit of a lull here at the moment as they come across the top of Mount Panorama. We say that with tongue-in-cheek because in just a moment it's going to go crazy again once they come down Conrod Straight. But that's going to be the critical aspect, isn't it? Because this is going to be a game of chess. Where do you want to position yourself on that final lap, knowing all too well that there is going to be a long line of cars behind you that will get a great run and a great slipstream?
It looks like we've just had a car go around, or 2 cars go around on the way down the hill.
Yeah, not a good position there either as well. So unfortunately 2 cars have come into contact at the exit of the dipper, and that is in a very precarious, a very bad position. Unfortunately, there's more damage here at the moment as well. Is that for Brock Giblin? The left front on that car looks a little bit skew as well. The drivers and your leaders are coming down Conrod Straight at the moment. Those 2 cars, they were stuck at the dipper just on the exit, as it looks like Johnston will move towards drivers right here, but will duck back in amongst that slipstream effect here. Still, we stay under green flag conditions at the moment. Green waving down into the chase. Just standing on the brakes there at the moment, Cam Bartholomew. Oh, just got it turned in there. In fact, he got a lot of the curb, and safety car now is being called, as you would expect for that incident there at the dipper. So,
we'll reach the who we've missed.
Yeah, we'll reach the half race distance here in a moment, and it'll be interesting to see as to whether or not we get a resumption of play here, because dare I say that might take a little while to clean up there at the dipper. Might have even, was it Cam Wilson, I think?
Doesn't look like Cam Wilson has come through
in the number 1, and it might have even been half a chance to Benny Bargwanna, because keeping in mind that they were fighting for position at the time, so I don't want to play devil's advocate here for the moment, but it might be Cam Wilson and Ben Bargwanna that got caught up. Remember, Brock Giblin had that left front damage there as well.
One thing we find is that the tyres do cool off quite quickly if you're not racing racing hard. The tyres that we use are the Federal 5905 RSRs, and big thank you to Federal for sponsoring our racing this weekend.
Kevin Herbert has jumped on the hashtag B6HR this morning. He goes, on my way to the Bathurst 6 Hour listening to the radio show limited team this morning. He goes, I had to stop to watch the stream of the Excel-a-thon this morning, and you're quite right, my friend. It has been an absolute belter so far. Keep driving that at the moment, because we're underneath the safety car pier at the moment, and if you get here underneath the speed limit, of course, you might be able to make it towards the track in time to catch possibly, hopefully, a resumption of play with still 3 laps to go at the moment as the field trundle underneath the control of the hi-Tec Oils Toyota 86 safety car right now.
Yes, and there's been lots of talk about what 55 Hyundais on a track is actually called. Okay, so we've got an Excel-a-thon.
Yep.
Okay, I actually heard somebody the other day call it a salon of Excels.
John, I suppose you could probably go on about that for days. Look at the damage there. So that's been quite a sizable impact by the looks. Cam Wilson is the red car there. Ben Bargwanna, the son of Jason Bargwanna, the 2000 Bathurst winner, also stopped there at the moment as well in that 35 machine.
Yeah, you can see the front damage on the Cam Wilson car.
Yeah, that's copped a fair sizable hit, hasn't it?
It has. So hopefully they're okay.
Yeah, exactly. Over 400 Excels, I believe, are registered in Australia for racing. I mean, that is incredible, isn't it? But more to the point, I think there, Begsy, is that for these Excels, right now in the landscape of Australian motorsport, they're becoming more of a proving ground, aren't they, for youngsters that therefore also step on to bigger and further things in Australian motorsport.
Well, that's exactly right. We have a lot of guys coming from go-karting or other forms of motorsport that wanted to go to the circuit racing. Great cost effective. If you do damage them, they're not that expensive to fix. So it gives the guys, if they do make a mistake, they're not looking at big budget repairs. So they're very affordable. Very close racing will then also get the driver skills. And what we've got as we go through the 6-hour category, definitely a lot of people involved. So it looks like we've just been red flagged.
Yeah, red flagged, unfortunately. So this third and final race of the weekend for the Hyundai Excels, unfortunately, coming to a halt here after the contact, the damage and the debris that is strewn across the racetrack there at the Dipper. So thank you very much to our flag marshals, of course, for their help here this weekend. No doubt many of them busy at the Dipper section of the racetrack right now. So that's a bit of a shame, unfortunately, Bexy, because it was setting up to be a cracking second half of the race, and so many people here filling this Mount Panorama circuit in order to watch this Excel action here this morning. But we're going to be robbed of what was going to be a great race, mate. Exactly. And having it come down to this is not exactly what we wanted as a category, but we've got to make sure that people are safe to be able to clean up. Let's have a look at the top 10 results for our Series X3 Excels here this morning. Cam Bartholomew taking the win. Asher Johnston, the 2-time South Australian champion, home in second. Adam Bywater, position number 3. David Wood in 4, and Ross Street, the top 5. Bexy, take us through from 6 to 10. From 6, we have Dean Hill. 7th, we have Steve Hay. 8th, Frank Mammarello coming from mid-pack on his way up. In 9th, Mark Goldsmink, and in 10th, Nathan Blight from Victoria.
Thank you so much. It's been a awesome weekend. We end up, P1, we were 3rd and 2nd, and then 1st today. Track record yesterday as well. So it's been sensational. First time here, and we come away with a win, so I'm wrapped. On the warm-up, guys, I was just trying to focus on my start because I've been getting pretty bad starts all weekend, and got a bit of a jump and was able to stay on the outside of Benny Bargwanna and get him going up Mountain Straight, and then pretty much from there on we just drove. Have you enjoyed yourself? I've had an absolute blast. Thank you so much for having us. It's been great having you here at Mount Panorama this weekend as part of the hi-Tec Oils Bathurst 6-hour. Thanks so much for joining us at this glorious Mount Panorama precinct.
There's more to come after the break as we head over to Spain for the second round of the FIM Enduro GP World Championship.